Good morning, friends. The 21st of April. I have titled this video, The Prophecy of the Popes. And I don't want you to think that's clickbait. We're going to talk about that because Pope Francis passed away. And we're going to talk about some really, conspiratorial ideas regarding the prophecy of the popes. All right. So we're going to start off with the academics of the prophecy of the popes, and then we'll get into the conspiracy theory. I'm sorry this is weird, but that's what, conspiracy theory to me is another word for truth seeking. So it doesn't have a negative connotation with me. The only negative connotation of conspiracy theory are the people trying to put you down for seeking truth. Luckily, those assholes got the vax. Okay, here we go. I asked Brock, what is the story with the Vatican only having room for one more pope on the wall? Then it's Armageddon, ? The story you're referring to is likely stems from a combination of the prophecy of the popes attributed to Saint Malachy and a related claim about a physical space in St. Peter's Basilica running out of room for papal medallions or portraits. If you don't know this, at the top there's room for all the popes that have ever existed, but there was only two more spaces, and now the Pope Francis has died. There's one more space, and that is the prophecy of the popes. St. Peter's Basilica running out of room for more papal medallions or portraits, some of which interpret as a sign of the impending apocalypse event like Armageddon. Here's a breakdown of the story and its origins. The prophecy of the popes. Overview. The prophecy of the popes is a series of 112 short, cryptic Latin phrases allegedly written by Saint Malachy in the 12th century Irish archbishop during a vision in 1139. These phrases are said to describe each pope from Celestine II, 1143, to the final pope, who is linked to the end of the world. The prophecy was first published in 1595 by Benedict monk Arnold Wyon, who claimed it was discovered in the Vatican secret archives. Final Pope. The last entry in the prophecy refers to a figure called Peter the Roman, described as, in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people. The end. The seven-hilled city is often interpreted as Rome, and the prophecy is sometimes linked to apocalyptic events like Armageddon. Connection to Pope Francis. Pope Francis, the current Pope of 2025, is considered by some to be the 112th Pope in the sequence, potentially fulfilling the prophecy. Interpretations vary. Some argue Francis is Peter the Roman, due to his Italian heritage despite being Argentinian, or because his birth name, George Mario Bergoglino, was loosely connected to Peter, e.g. St. Francis of Assisi's father of the name Pietro. Others speculate a future pope named Peter will follow Francis. We're about to find out, aren't we? The room for one more pope claim. St. Peter's Basilica medallions, a related story often tied to the prophecy of the Pope, suggests that the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls of St. Peter's Basilica has a wall or gallery displaying medallion portraits or plaques of the popes. According to some claims, there is supposedly only enough physical space left for one more pope before the wall is filled. This has been interpreted by some as the symbolic or the literal sign that the end of times are near, aligned with Malachi's prophecy. Lack of concrete evidence. There is no definitive evidence from the Vatican confirming such a wall exists with exactly one space left, nor is there an official Vatican statement linking this to Armageddon. The claim appears to be a modern embellishment, possibly spread through social media or sensational media outlets that tie into broader fascination with Malachi's prophecy. For example, a post on X mentions a spot in St. Peter's Basilica for one more pope, followed by Judgment Day, but it lacks verifiable backing. We got a lot more to read here. Sorry. We got historic and scholarly context. We got the Armageddon connection, critical examinations, and conclusion. And we're still in room for one more pope claim. Cultural amplification. The idea has been fueled by popular media, including books like The Last Pope by Robert Howell and fiction works like Dan Brown's novel, for which blend Vatican intrigue with apocalyptic themes. Recent speculation about Pope Francis's health. He was hospitalized with pneumonia in 2025, has further revived interest in these narratives. And the Pope died today or yesterday. Historical and scholarly context. Skepticism about the authenticity. Many historians and Catholic theologians dismiss the prophecy of the Pope as a 16th century forgery, likely created to influence a papal conclave around 1590. The prophecies are highly accurate for popes up to 1590, but become vague and less precise afterwards, suggesting that they were written retroactively. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, a contemporary of Malachi, I'm probably saying that wrong, makes no mention of such prophecy, and the original manuscript has never been produced. Vatican stance. The Catholic Church has no official position on prophecy and generally discourages speculation about apocalyptic predictions, citing biblical warnings like Matthew 24:36, which states that no one knows the day or hour of the second coming except God. Alternative interpretations. Some scholars suggest the prophecy was a political tool possibly created to support Cardinal Girolamo Simon Selfie's bid for papacy in 1590, as his hometown, Orvieto, Latin Urbitanum, Old City, matched the prophecy's description for the Pope following Urban VII. The Armageddon connection. Apocalyptic imagery. The prophecy final passage about the destruction of Rome and the dreadful judge aligned with Christian eschatological concepts like Armageddon, the final battle between good and evil described in the book of Revelations. However, the prophecy itself does not exactly use the term Armageddon. Modern speculation. The idea that the Vatican has room for one more pope before Armageddon is speculative leap, often tied to the prophecy's mention of the final pope and the amplified by contemporary events like Pope Francis's illness or global crises. Some sources, like the 24 documentary, interpret a passage about Pope Sixtus the Fifth axle in the midst of a signal, as suggests that the papal lineage midpoint predicted the end in 2027, 442 years after Sixtus V's reign began, matching the 442 years of Celestine II to Sixtus V. This is highly interpreted and not usually accepted. Critical examination. Lack of primary sources. The claim that a wall with space for one more pope lacks concrete documentation and appears to be a modern myth or exaggeration. The Vatican's basilis has to do future papal portraits or medallions, but there's no evidence of a fixed limit tied to the prophecy. Prophecy's ambiguity. The cryptic nature of Malachi's phrase allows for flexible interpretations, making it easily retroactive, fit them to any pope. For example, efforts to link post-1590 popes like Clement VIII as Rose Umbri are often strained, as he had only a marginal connection to Umbria. Sensationalism. Media and conspiracy theories often amplify these stories for dramatic effect, especially during times of uncertainty, e.g., papal health crisis. The Bible cautions against predicting the end times, suggesting that claims should be approached with skepticism. Finally, conclusion. The story that the Vatican has room for one more pope being Armageddon is a blend of prophecy of the popes attributed to Saint Malarkey and loosely documented claims about the physical space in the Vatican Basilica. While the prophecy predicts the final pope, Peter the Roman, followed by the destruction of Rome, it is widely considered a 16th century forgery by historians. The idea of a wall with one remaining space is a modern embellishment, unsupported by official Vatican records, but popularized through media and social platforms like X. The Catholic Church does not endorse these predictions, and biblical teachings discourage pinpointing the timing of apocalyptic events. For a deeper dive, you could explore primary sources like the Vatican Apostolical Archives, though access is restricted, or scholarly analysis of Malarkey's prophecies, such as M.J. O'Brien, 1880 monograph. Okay, that's all X had to say. Well, X really shot it down, and they said it's speculative. So if it's speculative and it's not true, then we just ignore it. Now, let's enter the realm of speculative thought. How is Pope Francis the last Pope of Rome, or is another last Pope of Rome coming? Let's see what they called this guy. Peter the Roman. Was Pope Francis Peter the Roman? I don't know. Now, I've seen a picture of that basilica and all the popes painted up there. It would be easy to take a picture of it right now to see how many spaces are left. Are there 2 spaces or 1 space? Was Pope Francis Peter the Roman? Does that mean his death means we could see some kind of destruction of Rome? How could the president of Rome, that woman, the prime minister, who just met with Trump, did they agree upon anything that could lead to some catastrophic war with Rome? I don't think anybody's picking a fight with Italy right now, so that doesn't seem logical. Now we have Putin, Russia, and Iran just came to a mutual agreement to protect each other. And the way I interpret that is Iran will give Russia oil and money, and Russia will use its weapons to protect Iran against Israel. And if you don't know this, for 3 months I've been trying to get Trump to appoint me to become the U.S. ambassador to Israel, because Israel It's kind of like a child who didn't get its toy at Christmas and it won't stop crying. And Israel wants war with Iran. That's the toy. And Israel continues to cry. They really want their war with Iran. They get money from it. Israel doesn't need security. They have all the security they've ever dreamed of. America. Israel wants the money from Iran oil. It'll be interesting if the next pope's name is Peter. Now, two things. The Freemasons could be backwriting the future. So there's prophecy and things in the Bible, and then maybe the Freemasons are trying to make those things happen. It doesn't mean they came true. It just means that they're using the Bible as a script to make you think they came true. Hey, Will Marty Non, nice to see you, man. Also, with Israel building its third temple, is Israel trying to force a biblical narrative? I don't know. I really don't. However, they are fully capable of manufacturing a false narrative to fit their religious agenda, which is power and domination. I'm in the crazy camp of believing time travel is possible. So, here's my yarmulke. Get some yarmulke action going on here. So I believe that time travelers have come to Earth many times, and they've warned us of a nuclear holocaust. And many of these stories say that around 2030, a nuclear holocaust happens. Now, that's 5 years from now. But not all of them say 2030. Some say like 2025. Then we have the remote viewers, Dick Alligator from Hawaii and his 3 other partners. They all remote viewed something horrible happening 10 times larger than 9/11. Cataclysmic. Energetics. Instead of saying bomb, they say the word energetics. So they said lots of energetics. And that hasn't happened. And this August will be 2 years since they made that prediction. Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that's it for my talk about the Pope and the prophecy. Hey, Walmart Anon, I hope you're holding up well. We lost our club. We lost a place to hang out. It's kind of I'm doing some Murphy's Law here. I'm going to open up my own 4chan called brightchan.org. And Murphy's Law is if I do this and I waste all the time to get it going, then 4chan will come back online. That's Murphy's Law. So I would welcome that. And if they don't come back online, maybe the torch will be passed over to me and I will inherit the community. I don't know. I also need moderators for it, and yeah, it'd give me a few days to get it up. It's not the easiest software to get rolling. I'm using a software called Vichan, Vichan. I tweeted it earlier. I realized, now that 4chan is gone, what it really brought me was the news regurgitated by people. That's what I liked. I liked the news being regurgitated, and I could find out what was important and what wasn't. It was like the wisdom of crowds for news. The second thing I liked about 4chan was the humor, the cynical humor. I liked the cynical humor. Things I'm working on. So funny. If you could have heard me today, I talked to my psychiatrist. She's not a psychiatrist. She's a nurse practitioner, but she's the person who gives me my medication. And she knows about me running for governor, running for U.S. ambassador. I told her about my new drone project that I'm working on. I told her about I didn't tell her about BrightChan. I wasn't withholding information. We just didn't have enough time. But she knows about all my ideas. I got to work on my batteries for my electricity for summertime, and so she listened to me for about 25 minutes, which is really good. So she's giving me some Wellbutrin XL and a bigger dose of Strattera. So we're going to try. That's my new medication to try to get me to focus more. And I told her I gained some weight, and she thought the Wellbutrin would help me lose weight. So today I'm going to buy a drone, an Arduino drone kit. I don't know when that will get working. But that's exciting. I'll also be buying the battery to fix my laptop, my Macintosh laptop, and I'm buying a USB-C board that's broken on it. I'm buying some copper eyelet 6AWG size clamp on connectors for electrical wires for my power system here at home. Jessica might have found me a girlfriend, a black lady actually, and so that's kind of exciting. She said she's really calm and relaxed. She got 3 children, but she's not interacting with them much. That also creates a little concern. When you date a woman with children, you're like, oh, the kids aren't going to like me. I don't want the kids creating drama, but the mom doesn't talk to the kids much. But that's its own drama. Like, I think a mother should be in contact with her children. But and I've always worried about dating black women because they have black children who could be crazy. I know that sounds racist, and I guess it is racist, but judge every human individually. So, if I went to the jungle in Africa and I just strolled into the jungle, like, hey, big kitty cat, that's not smart, right? You got to be racist. Cats are dangerous, so be careful. But if I do meet her children, I would treat them, as equals, and just hope for the best. I treat everybody with kindness and compassion until they show me otherwise. I've been trying to milk Twitter for information. It's hard. So I go up to explore and then I click on news and I get a little information. Pope Francis passes at 88 years old. Slashdot brings me some joy. I like technology news. China detonated a non-nuclear hydrogen bomb, and the fireball lasted 15 twice as long as a nuclear fireball. Walmart and on, what have you been up to? Verizon consumer CEO says net neutrality went nowhere. Invasion of the journal snatcher, the firms that buy science publications and turn them rogue. FBI can't find missing records of its hacking tools. Huh? Let's read this one, folks. The FBI says it is unable to find records related to its purchase of a series of hacking tools despite spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on them, and those purchases initially being included in public U.S. government procurement databases before quietly being scrubbed from the internet. Well, try Wayback Machine. Well, I heard they bought Pegasus from Israel at $900,000 per use. That's why they don't want to find it. Over 100 public software companies getting squeezed by AI. We may have already hit peak booze. Global alcohol consumption has entered what appears to be a permanent decline, with total peak at 25 billion liters in 2016 and falling approximately 13% since, according to the data from market research. Per capita consumption has dropped dramatically from 5 liters of pure alcohol per adult annually in 2013 to 3.9 liters in 2023. Well, that just must be those 500,000 Russians who died fighting Ukraine. Wine production reached its max of 35 million metric tons in 2079, has already decreased by 27%. Beer production peaked more recently in 2016 at 190 million tons and has since decreased 2.6%. We should create the Deadpool, the beer Deadpool. What beers are going out of business next? This would be popular. Should the government have regulated early internet? No. The government fails at everything it does. Return of office policies are impacting neurodivergent workers. What does neurodivergent mean? Oh, whose brains? ADHD, autism, or dyslexia? Oh, I have both. I might even have autism too. I got dyslexia, I got ADHD, and some people think I'm autistic, so fuck, I'm neurodivergent. I'll also still beat your ass if you fuck with me. Can you run the Llama 2 LLM on DOS? In another episode of Who Gives a Shit, Airbus promised a green hydrogen aircraft. You know, maybe jets are causing global warming, not cars. Maybe jets. Astronomers confirmed first lone black hole discovery, and it's in the Milky Way. Now, this is going to be room for jokes. Conservatives say de-extinction, not the answer to saving extinct species. Ooh, what? Conservationists. Aren't conservationists liberal Democrat assholes? Like, who cares what they think? Fuck those people. Line them up against the wall and shoot them. Let the spotted owl save its own bacon. Now we're seeing some good ads. Bees are disappearing again. You know, I think the bee business would be good to get into, because bees are having trouble. So here's what's going on. Bees in some areas potentially are dying, keyword potentially, are dying from pesticides. So here's my bee business. You grow a lot of bees in some place where it's safe, where bees are thriving. And then you take those bee colonies and you bring them to America, put them on a ship. That's my business idea. Get the government to pay big money for the bees, because if we don't get it, then everything dies. Oh, that is a nice looking boot. Oh, hey. Assholes. I went to go click on, hey dog. Nice to see you, man. Well, on the 15th at the 4chan Twitter, they said we're working on it, but I don't think they are working on it. They could have brought that back up. For all you people who love Star Wars, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. Well, SF Gate. Let me go to SF Gate. 4 teenage girls killed in Bay Area crash. That's always tragic. Probably drinking and driving. Driving an SUV. You know, SUVs are considered trucks, so they don't have the same crash impact standards as a passenger vehicle. So they're actually less safe. And then, since they don't have to build it to higher crash standards, they make more profit. People feel secure because you're sitting up higher, but you're only feeling secure as you die. Hey, Chucky, baby. No, I'm not going to go to Soy Jack Party. They're the ones who shut down 4chan. You can't reward bad people. No. They took down 4chan. I'm not going to reward them with my traffic. Well, Chucky, you're just going to have to watch the intro to my the first 20 minutes. Valero is a refinery in the Bay Area, and they're closing. So it was an inexpensive fuel company. I don't have anything else. I got a lot of work to do today, so I'm going to set up the BrightChan server. I'm going to purchase that. I'm going to try to upload the code base and get it connected to the database. It's going to take me many days to get this going. I've done it 10 times before. Woman found dead inside Lake Tahoe home. Suspect arrested. All right. With a charge of open murder. Trump administration molds intervention in California dam removal. Yeah, Chucky baby, just actually go to the very beginning of this broadcast. It's really intensive, so it would take me 25 minutes to repeat myself, which I'm not going to do. All right, friends. Walmart Anon, thanks for being here. And I don't have anything else for you. Maybe I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye, friends.